I'm going to call my big boy Lee in. April 17th, Sunday 2020. Over a month of the shelter in place. Lee! Lee! Oh, he's coming from over there. Come on, big guy. Here he comes. Slowly. And there he goes. Oh, here he is, groomed up as good as he can be. See you later. He'll look pretty slick in about another month, I would say. I'm going to take him for a short ride. So we're going to do just a little road ride today. Trails are closed. I don't understand that, because when you're on horseback on the horse trails, how close can you be to violate social distancing? But we ride the roads until they open up the trails again. So we're entering the subdivision just to the east of the horse farm. Pretty quiet. Everyone, not everyone, but almost all of the people in the subdivision have acreage with enough room for two to four horses, depending on how many acres came with their property. It's been divided up, and this subdivision was specifically made for horse people, which is really neat. So, see, some of their properties go back pretty far. I don't know if these people here, I don't think they have horses on their property, but there's a horse barn. Some of these houses sell, people move. New house going up just over here. It's getting close to being finished. Let's see if I get a good view of it as we go by. Come on, Lee. As you can see by the fencing up there, this is definitely a horse neighborhood. Here's a beautiful property. Very nice home. And in the distance, if the camera shows it, there's a couple horses. They've got a very nice area here. Very, very nice. And some people prefer steel horses, like that one. I heard some comments coming from the yard. Hey, that's a big horse. I guess, yeah, he is. He's the biggest horse being ridden around here. I think Lee goes right now at 2,000 pounds. Almost every house I pass has horses. There's some through the trees there. I'll get a better view of these horses, I think, when I get around the corner. I'm only going a short ride today around the block. But as you can see through there, that's all pastured off for horses. Like I say, we're just making a big circle around the block today. Lee's unsure of his surrounding. He sees the flag waving in the breeze. Thinks that that's something to be concerned about. Here's a nice big pasture. Horses aren't out in it yet. All kinds of horse people in here. And these people aren't horse people. They don't have horses. They mow all that. That looks like about 5 acres that they mow. A 5-acre lawn. Lee has to check out the horse smells. And the reason a lot of horses aren't out in those pastures that are fenced off is because people prudently section them off and rotate. You got to rotate the horses. If you have 5 acres, for example, and you say you got 2 horses, you really need to separate those acres off a little bit so they eat one section down, and you just rotate them so the grass doesn't always stay too short. This is a property I would like to have bought years ago, but on my single income I could afford to buy what I bought. But this has a nice brick house, as you can see in the distance there, and they sectioned all of the yard off for horse grazing, which was very, very smart to do. Very smart thing to do. And we're coming out of the Horsemans Subdivision now, heading on to Betts Road. I'm going to circle back and head back to the farm. Just like I say, today, just a leisure, quiet clip-clop. No galloping around. Lee's pretty satisfied that we're going back, although I think he's confused. I don't think he remembers that we go right, not left. But now he caught on. I looked at this house and property years ago when it was for sale then. I really wish I could have bought that house, and of course the acres that go with it. I think there's probably at least 5, if not 7 acres parceled off that went with that. The barn, of course, has seen its better days, but there's a couple horses, and like I say, they sectioned this off and instead of mowing all that yard, they let the horses graze, and I think that's a very wise thing to do. I like that. I really like that. If I bought that place, I might have chosen to do the same thing. I'm not sure if the owners actually live in that house, though. That I'm not sure of. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's a neat old farmhouse, very old, over 100 years old, I would think. Here's Chad's place. I think he's got 7 acres here. Mows the front and pastured off the back for the horses. I think I'd have more of the front yard for horses, but I don't know. You know, it's hard to say what I would do if I had a house in here. Here's the house of the lady that owns the farm where Lee lives. Windy Oak Stables. We lovingly call her the Land Witch. Oh, we've had a lot of fun with her through the years. We're getting back. That fence line that you see up ahead is the pasture where the horses that where Lee lives are in. So we're getting close. That house you see up ahead, in 1968, my parents and I lived in that house. That's the house that's actually attached to the farm where my horse Lee lives. But my parents and I, we were renters, but we rented there in 1968. I had a horse then too, and I had this whole place to myself, literally. There's a big corner barn here when I lived here in 1968. That milk house right there was my tack room. Now we're going down the valley. And now that Lee's worked extra hard to haul my rear end around, I gotta let him eat some grass. Now you heard about the grass being greener on the other side of the fence. Well, this is the other side of the fence. This is his favorite thing, is when I get back from a ride, he likes to eat this grass that's on this side of the fence. Well, that's about it today, folks. Well, I think my horse Lee is going swimming. There he is down in the water. I'm surprised he doesn't go right down in the water. That pond, of course, is not big enough to take a horse swimming, and I used to take horses swimming years ago. That's a lot of fun. But this pond is full of turtles, and there's a few snapping turtles in it that I don't like, but there he is, right down in the water and eating as much of that grass growing out of there as he can.